Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Steve Cooper, food app critic for TokeMag.com. If anybody's been reading the reviews or been following these videos for any amount of time, you know I'm constantly looking for a great wine app. So I'm excited. I have a good one for you this week. It is called Rate a Wine. And this app is really, there's been a lot of complicated or really robust apps. I don't even want to call them complicated. They're stuffed with all sorts of really great features. This one is really a step back in its simplicity, because really not everybody wants to dig in and have all sorts of notes and all the craziness that goes along with hardcore enthusiasts. You just want to know if this wine's a 3-glass wine or a 5-glass wine or whatever the case may be. That's what Rate a Wine does for you. This is an iPhone app. It is 99 cents. And it is really nice. So let's talk about the details here. So you open up the app, and when you open it for the first time, one of the things I really appreciate and love about this app is that it doesn't mess around. It immediately starts showing you how to use the app in a really nice way that you don't feel like you're being attacked, you know. So it kind of points arrows and tells you what these things do, and there's not a lot of buttons, there's not a lot of stuff to this app, so you figure it out pretty quickly. So saying that, there's a little button in the top right corner. You click on that, and it brings up a window where you shoot a picture. So you take your bottle of wine, you hold your phone up to it, you snap a picture of the label. This doesn't scan labels, this doesn't scan barcodes, it's just the picture. Once you've done that, it then just has a 1 to 5 glass like icon that you just pick. You know, instead of stars, it's a glass, and you pick how you rate this wine. And then after that, you choose from one of their tasting notes. And there's not too many of the tasting notes. I would like to see a little bit more, but these are very nice, well-designed icons, and when you click on the tasting note, it'll show you a stick of butter, and that represents a buttery flavor. Or you got some like blackberries on a vine, and that represents black fruit. You're only allowed to choose 3 tasting notes for this app, so that is actually something I would like to see it expand a little bit, but I think you kind of get the gist. If it's like oaky and buttery and, you know, dry or something, you kind of get the gist of that. The thing, though, is once you've selected your notes and the summary page that it then takes you back to, you lose the description. So, for example, one of the things I mentioned in the written review is there's an icon of a pepper mill, and that is representative of spices, which makes sense. But what if, you know, I got a bad memory sometimes, and 2 weeks down the road I'm looking for a wine and I see it and I'm like, oh, that's peppery, or, you know, something along those lines, not spices in particular. You know, I would like to see it include that little description. So that's a small knock, but if you click on the notes, it will bring up all the options that you have with the descriptions. Beyond that, the only other real functionality this app has, I take that back, there's 2. One is there's a place for you to write your own written wine info, so you can add as much or as little information as you want there. A little trick is, you know, since this is an iPhone app, you could use the dictate function to make it easy so you don't have to type out a whole bunch of stuff. I do miss that it doesn't have a space to include price. I like to purchase wine that I think is good, but I also am, you know, I don't want to say frugal, but I like good value. So if I have 2 wines that I'm shown as a 4 or 5 glass wine, and one of them's, you know, $10 and the other one's $45, I think that makes a difference when you're using a wine app like this. Saying that, though, this app works great. Once you've rated your wines, it gives you just a list of wines, and this is actually where I faulted a little bit again. because it just lists them in the order of date, most recent being put at the top. So I would like some sorting functionality to this app, being able to sort it by best to worst rated wines for yourself, or worst to best, or if they added a price functionality, that'd be nice. Or even, I mean, they have the tasting notes that are predefined, so show me all the stuff that I think tastes oaky, or show me all the stuff that has a good black fruit flavor to it. So with all that, there is room for improvement, but the last app I reviewed was Pick Me a Fruit, and I gave that really good reviews because it was a simple app. It did what it said it was going to do, and I just wanted a little bit more out of that app, but I gave it a really good score. I put this app in that same category where it's not trying to solve the world's problems. It's just trying to give you a simple way to rate wine, and it does that. It does a really good job of that. And one last thing I want to mention is it has some sharing functionality. So if you taste some wine and you like what you drank, you can share it on Facebook, Twitter, or send an email. During my testing phase, I actually did send out a tweet, and within hours, I got a reply from the Rate a Wine people from their Twitter handle. So I was impressed with that. I mean, that's what you would hope to see, and they delivered. So kudos to you guys over at Rate a Wine. I much appreciated that and give you props for that. So saying all that, though, I would like to see some filtering options. I would like to see maybe a little price wheel in here. But overall, it does what it says it's going to do. It does a good job of that. And I don't think it needs to have cloud storage or barcode scanners and all that stuff, unless you have a really big, super humongous database of wines, because in the past I've used those barcode scanning apps, and I don't know what's more frustrating, just being able to take a picture of the wine and having it come up and getting exactly what I expect, or scanning and scanning and scanning and getting no results. So this one, it works for how it's supposed to work, and I do appreciate that. The layout is nice, the navigation is simple and easy. Overall, if you're just looking for something to rate wines, you drink wine on a regular basis, or even not that regular, and you want something to remind you of what you thought was good and what wasn't, this is a very good app for that. Because of that fact, I gave it a good score. I rate this app a 3.75 out of 5. If you have a wine app that you think I should give a look at, please let me know. I should let you know that I've reviewed many wine apps on tokemag.com, so be sure to check that out. And I'm in constant search of the perfect wine app. This is a very nice one, and I will definitely be working this into my repertoire. So that's going to do it this week. Before we go, I want to remind you that the Food App Awards are now open. It's the second annual. Entry of your first app is completely free. You've got nothing to lose. Great publicity. We tweet out all the nominees. We have a nice page giving descriptions of what the categories are. Go to tokemag.com. There's a link up at the top of the web page, and I think you'll like what you see there. We did it last year and had a really great response. We have an outside panel of independent judges that look at all these apps, and they weigh it on a scale with a proprietary formula that we put together. So if you have an app, if you're a developer, give it a look. You got nothing to lose. I highly recommend it, and if you win, we'll give you a nice little badge to throw on your website to separate you from all the millions of other apps out there. So be sure to check that out. All right. Again, this is my 3.75 for Rate a Wine, and until next time, take care, everybody.